Hi guys, welcome. And who dat? I'm Joe. Thanks for tuning in to Rosenfield 10, where I cover our beloved Bless You Boys in black and gold, the New Orleans Saints. Are you a who dat? Are you a who dat fan? Because if you're a who dat, you need to subscribe to this channel. You love the Saints. It's free. Subscribe to the channel. And you can consider me a friend or a coworker. Every time you see me, you're asking me, hey, Joe, what you think about them Saints? And I'll let you know what I'm thinking. You let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. It is the regular season. It's the first week. We're finally here. And we're going to preview the week one matchup in the 2025 NFL regular season for our New Orleans Saints. This week, we've got conference foe, the Arizona Cardinals, coming into town into the Caesars Superdome to take on our beloved Saints. And this will be something I do every week. I'll preview the game. And then when the game's over next week, I'll review the game and we'll talk about where the team's at. In every preview, I show you the complete roster going into the game. So if there are any roster changes, you'll see them every week on this channel. Now, I can go about these previews in a couple of different ways. A lot of people think we're going to be really bad this year. So, what's the point of even trying to be serious about these breakdowns, right? We're supposed to lose, chalk it up as a loss. And if I were going to do that, then I would probably focus on the draft and just start doing an up and down stock report on quarterbacks coming out in the draft this year, how they're doing in college. I could change this channel into that very easily if I were to think that all of these games are moot. Well, it's the beginning of the season, so I'm going to have the approach of there's a game to be played. We have a football team. I want the team to be really good. If this Saints squad wins the Super Bowl, then I don't think any of you guys will be upset, right? I mean, it'll be pretty nice. Now, wait, let me wake up. Okay, I'm awake. There is a chance that this team could be middle of the pack. The Arizona Cardinals are coming into town. I think they finished 8-9 last year. They are the middle of the pack. Perhaps something the Saints are aspiring to be this year. The problem with being middle of the pack is, yeah, it would be a nice first year for rookie head coach Kellen Moore, and it would be a nice surprise given that no one thinks we're going to win more than 4 games this year. So if we can double that and get to 8-9, well, we'll be right in the same spot we've been since Sean Payton's last year with the Saints and DA's entire tenure as head coach with the Saints. We were always middle of the pack. Last year we fell to 5-12, and no one thinks we're going to be any good. Look at the quarterbacks. So I'm going to approach every game as we have a chance to win until we get to that very obvious point where we're not competitive. We know we're not competitive. And then I'll turn my focus onto the upcoming draft. Usually in the off season, I focus on the draft, pre-draft quite a bit. Subscribe to this channel and you're going to get positional breakdowns of all of the potential rookies coming out in the upcoming draft, and I talk about it from a Saints point of view, so we look at players that we would be interested in. But until that time comes, and that time came when we were 2-7 last year, I think at that point I realized, yeah, it's over with. We're not 2-7, folks. We're 0-0, and we've got the Arizona Cardinals coming up. Can we be a middle of the road team and actually compete in most of these games on this schedule of ours that is a pretty easy schedule compared to other teams, including other teams in our division. So, what do I think about the game? Well, I'm going to show you our offense and our defense first. We're going to talk about the injury news, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on the game. Let's look at the offense for our Saints. Yeah, Jake Hayner's back on the active roster. I'm not a fan of this. I would not have done it. That being said, why did the Saints do it? I don't know. I can't come up with much, but I've had a week to think about it. And so what I'm thinking is if you have a quarterback on your practice squad and you want to elevate him for the game, he has to be an active roster member of the game. Or if you allocate him as one of the seven non-actives, then he can't be emergency quarterback and be active. I think it works that way in the league. Your quarterback that's going to be counted as an inactive but can play as an emergency quarterback has to start the game as an active roster member. I think that's the difference. So you can't just bring up Jake Hayner and have him be an inactive until you need him. He has to be an active roster member, then be an inactive for the game, but he can still be an emergency quarterback. That gives you one more spot on your active roster during the game. So you feel like you lost one by having him on the team to begin with, but you gain the ability to play an extra player if he's on the active roster. That's the only thing I can come up with. I've wasted enough of your time talking about Jake flipping Hayner. Spencer Rattler's going to start the game. At running back, Alvin Kamara is going to be the stud. I think in this game in particular, I think we're going to have to focus on the run quite a bit. I mean, we've got a young quarterback. A lot of people in the league think we should have started Tyler Shuck, a second round rookie quarterback. Instead, we're starting a 1 year pro who was a fifth round quarterback. Spencer Rattler, who played in 7 games last year, started six, threw 4 touchdowns in 6 games, threw 5 interceptions, and fumbled 5 times. So he turned the ball over 10 times in 7 games and started six and went 0-6. Yeah, I can see why the league thinks we're not going to be any good. Well, if Rattler slash Shuck can play a little better than people are expecting, I think Kellen Moore can work something out. And that's going to be run the ball with Alvin Kamara, a nice little dose of Miller in the back, and then let's see what we can do. Work off the play action and everything else. That's got to be the game plan going in, which would be a pretty good game plan since it worked so well in Philadelphia with a good, really good running back, but a really good offensive line. We don't have a really good offensive line, at least not right now, not in my opinion. I think Kellen Moore is going to have to add more pieces to this offensive line before he can get the kind of results he got in Philly. But I like the wide receivers. And yeah, we're probably going to bring up a tight end from the practice squad, which means you have to have 7 inactive players for the game. And it's really hard for me to pick 7 inactives. I feel like this team's going to need everybody just to compete. But it is a train of thought. You want to pause the video and look at this roster. I'll show you the defense in a second. Try to figure out who's going to be the 7 inactives. Hayner, Devin Neal, Mason Tipton, probably Xavier Truss, maybe even Luke Fortner. It's going to be tough to find some inactives here. Well, Penning is out of the boot, but Penning was a did not participate in practice so far. I haven't gotten any of the reports from Thursday yet. I'm recording this on Thursday, but I don't think Penning's going to play, so we're going to see Dylan Redun start at left guard. And like I said, we'll probably bring up a tight end so we can have an extra body there. I hope that Banks and Fuanga can handle the tackle duties. They don't get hurt because if they do, we're putting in a brand new player in Richards. Or we slap someone else in at guard, maybe Torricelli Simpkins, and throw Dylan Reduns out at tackle. Yeah, it's going to be, I'm going to be holding my breath that this offensive line stays healthy. All right, that's your offense. Let's take a look at the defense going into week 1 versus Arizona. We've got an issue at outside linebacker slash edge rusher as Chase Young injured his calf in practice. And head coach Kellen Moore acted like it wasn't a big deal. But we're playing a team right now with their first round draft pick. Walter Nolan's not going to play. He's on the pup list. He's not going to play for the first 4 games for Arizona. He's their first round defensive tackle because he got a calf injury during OTAs. Okay, he got a calf injury in OTAs and he's on their pup list. So I'm hoping Chase Young doesn't have a severely injured calf because I was excited to see a fully healthy Chase Young. Now, whatever results we get from Chase Young, we'll have to go back to the calf injury. Maybe it's that. And all right, so defensive line, defensive tackles, outside linebackers, edge rushers. We're going to have to see a huge improvement from what we got from these guys last year. Everybody thinks our defensive line is so great. I don't see it. Brian Brissett can't stop the run, so he's got to stop the run. I mean, we've got Devin Gottschall, and that's supposed to make a big difference. Fine. I'm not excited about plugging Shepard next to Gottschall or the rookie Broughton, who, I'm more excited about that than anything because I do feel like we're rebuilding, and I'd like to see the pieces we have. I'd like to see Brian Brissett get better at stopping the run. It's the only way we're going to win this game is if we can stop the run because the Cardinals are going to try to run the ball between the tackles and between those 2 tight ends all day long. I like our linebackers. One of your inactives will probably be Jalen Ford. Another inactive might be one of your defensive ends, Jonathan Bullard, Vernon Broughton, maybe. And your secondary, Taylor was back at practice and he was limited, but he was there. It gives me hope that Taylor is going to play, and that makes all the difference in the world in this game to me. Amadi plays nickel if Taylor doesn't. Amadi's a fine player. He's just not as big as Taylor. He's not as physical as Taylor. If Trey McBride is covered by Ugo Amadi and McBride catches the ball, I don't know if Amadi can bring the guy down. Okay. Taylor's covering him. He might break the pass up. Trey McBride catches the ball. I'm certain Taylor can bring him down. So it's going to be a big, big difference. We haven't seen this new defense with Taylor out there yet. He didn't play in the first 3 games and in preseason, and he's injured. And at safety, we're going to get to finally see Justin Reed and Julian Blackman for an entire game. I'm excited about that. Maybe one of your inactives is Rajon Wright at cornerback. So, all right, that's the defense. Your MVP of the game will probably be kicker Blake Groupie. We only scored 2 touchdowns in preseason, so I don't see us scoring a lot of touchdowns unless Kellen Moore has some magic. And if he does, it's going to be a surprise to not only us, but the Cardinals as well. I'm hoping that element of surprise works for us. I'm not sure what he's going to do. Perhaps he has the pieces on this team to do whatever he wants. Maybe he can run the ball 40 times one game, throw the ball 40 times another game with the speed at receiver that we have. I don't know. We'll have to see. That's why I'm not going to wish for this team to tank right out of the gate. Arizona is a middle of the road team. If we excel beyond expectations, we'll be a middle of the road team and we can beat a team like the Cardinals. So what do I think's going to happen? In in my predictions, I'm going to pick 2 different scores. I'm going to pick a score where we lose. I'm going to pick a score where we win. I'll probably do that for every game until it's painfully obvious that we're not going to win. I thought that Alante Taylor's availability would make a difference here. It looks like he's going to play. If he plays and Kellen Moore has some surprises and Brandon Staley's defense is effective with or without Chase Young, if all of this works and we end up putting out there a good product, then I can see us winning this game. But it'll be close and it'll be low scoring. I would bet the under on the score, but I'll pick the Saints to win this one in overtime. Saints 19, Cardinals 16. Now, this would be my score prediction if Taylor plays and we find a way to win. But there's a chance Taylor doesn't play. There's also a chance that we are really bad. And if that's the case, then we'll lose the game. And that score will likely end up the Cardinals 26 and the Saints 16. I've got us pegged at 16. I feel like we're going to score a touchdown, 3 field goals, maybe a fourth field goal can win it in a close game, or maybe Alante Taylor doesn't play well or doesn't play at all. We miss Chase Young if he misses the game, and they find the end zone enough to run away with it. So, all right, that is my preview for the Cardinals versus the Saints. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10, and you'll get the review, and you'll get the preview for the next game, and you'll get all the other stuff included. Thanks for tuning in, and go Saints. It's a new season, and I'm optimistic. I'm not afraid of being 8-9, 9-8. It's going to show that we're headed in the right direction, that we've started off this rebuild pretty good, that we're overachieving where we're supposed to. And although it ruins that draft pick for next year, it's always fun to win. So here's to winning. I hope we win. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Who dat?